The aftermath of dealing with narcissists and many other toxic people is you feeling completely emotionally drained, emotionally bankrupt. Like you have nothing really left in yourself compared to your former self. So when a narcissist or certain other toxic personalities come into your experience, they usually see you as somebody who has a lot of emotional depth, a lot of positive energy, and a lot of positive energy to give. They see you as somebody who's resourceful, and they see you as somebody who has, I guess a good word to describe it would be gumption, where it's almost like you replenish yourself by yourself. You have this natural ability to feel good about yourself and just to kind of have that visible high self-esteem, that visible sense of vitality about yourself. So these are the types of people that narcissists like to target. And what they'll do is, when they're getting you comfortable with their presence, they'll mirror those feelings that you have about yourself. And they'll come across as if they have your energy, they have your positive traits, but even a bit more. So you find yourself getting really close to them very easily and very quickly. You find yourself rendezvousing with them and interchanging your energy, your emotional just beingness with them, because you find yourself feeling very close to them. But that's at the beginning. So at the beginning, a narcissist will come across as if they're matching your high flying energy, let's say. Um, but then, as soon as they've got you hooked in their sort of vortex, so to speak, that's when that's when they start chipping away at your self-esteem. That's where they start doing things like withdrawing because they know you're expecting something positive from them. That's where they start putting doubt in your mind and everything else that comes, across as a devaluation type of action. And every time they do that, it's like they're tapping into your reservoirs of vitality, your reservoirs of positive energy, and they're extracting it for themselves. And they do it in a way where you don't often see what they're doing, at least not at the outset, because it can be quite gradual from the initial love bombing to the very visible devaluation. It's like if you think about a spectrum of from black to white, where white is the love bombing and black is the devaluation. They approach it in terms of an ever changing shade of the color gray, where they're just slightly changing the way they're dealing with you, but it becomes ever more biased towards devaluing comments, devaluing actions, withholding, inducing confusion in you, where they kind of salt and pepper a bit of love bombing and a bit of those good things from the beginning just to keep you hooked. And as they go through that, those different shades of gray from white to black, from the love bombing to the very visible devaluation, they're depleting your emotional sustenance, the credits within you to keep you going, your emotional credits. They're basically using that up. And you find yourself having less of less. And then the narcissist finds themselves having more and more. It's basically a transfer of energy to them. And then they feel more energized, and then they'll use your positive energy in other areas of their life. So they use you for the purpose of maybe for them conquering new supply, maybe for them just being able to feel good about themselves. But they do tap into your emotional reservoirs to help them accomplish that. So, but it's only a matter of time before you find yourself not having basically anything left, Because if you're new to NPD and you didn't know who you were dealing with, you make all kinds of excuses for the way they were treating you. And even though it was visible they were abusing you, since they have you hooked, since they have you trauma bonded, you can't really leave. You don't have the strength to leave. So you find yourself hooked and you stay until you have nothing left. So it's when you've gone emotionally bankrupt, so to speak, when you've actually lost just about everything, emotionally anyway, that they see no more use in you. You've basically served your purpose. They don't need you anymore. Why would they? Why would they need you? Like an empty piggy bank. They'll throw the piggy bank away. It's not worth the material it's made of. And that's kind of how they see you. You're not worth your outer shell. You're not worth the being who you are anymore. They see you as discardable at that point. So that's what narcissists do. And that's how they kind of exist. That's how they survive. They find these, for the lack of a better term, a host who's has a lot to offer. And they'll steadily deplete the host over time. And as they're depleting the host, they're getting their life sustenance. But when the host can no longer provide because they've taken everything on offer, at least for now, it's time for them to jump ship. At that point, they'll have looked at other people who have something of relevance to offer to them. Other potential supplies, other people who maybe had similar traits to you, but who haven't yet been depleted. So it's always the same game. Narcissists will mirror and match you as if they have all the positive traits and they can kind of match you at that very high-flying positive level at the beginning. Only so later they can get you hooked and dependent on them while they withdraw your emotional bank account. After which, when you don't have anything left in your emotional bank account, they'll find somebody who's got plenty to offer. And the cycle perpetuates itself. So, with respect to what should interest you, it's just a matter of seeing those red flags, of noticing when somebody approaches you in that way, because that way you can cut it off sooner rather than later. Because the sooner you cut them out, the more integrity you'll have kept. And then from that point onwards, the secret is, or the key is, to keep them out and don't allow them to come back into your life experience. Don't let a cycle repeat itself, because when narcissists deplete you, and then you have nothing to offer, and they leave, and they try to find that somewhere else, you in time will heal, and you'll become your former self again. At which point they want to come back to extract more from you. Because our natural tendency is to heal. Even when we're struggling, if you've been through a situation, if you've broken up with a narcissist and then you've kind of gone through that recovery, each day of your recovery you are replenishing. Even if you're angry and things like that, even if you have that, or you blame yourself because you were fooled and you didn't know what a narcissist was, all that, even as you're going through that, you are in a way healing slowly. So the narcissists, what they do is when they see you sufficiently healed, they like to come back into your life for seconds. And obviously, incidentally, it tends to be a lot worse the second or third time they come. So just make sure that once they're out, you keep them out.